Welcome to Focus Today. I'm your host, Perry Atkinson, and boy, is it an honor to have back with us a gentleman that we have on quite a few times, and we're going to welcome him back here in just a few moments, and that's Jordan Sekulow. He is the Executive Director of the American Center for Law and Justice, and of course, you see him all over the place, but now he's made it to the big time because he's back on theDove, and we got some good things we want to talk to him about, especially about the US pastor jailed in Iran, and I know that his dad's involved in that case. ObamaCare, which is now heading for some kind of a train wreck. We just don't know how big and how messy it's going to be. And, of course, a lawsuit concerning the national model. There you are. Hi, Jordan. How you doing, my friend?
Hey, Perry. How are you? Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you. Boy, you guys are busy. I don't know when you find time to sleep with all the suits you're filing these days.
A lot going on, but that's what our job is to do.
Nice to have you with us. Hey, first of all, tell us what's going on with Pastor Abedini. I know that your dad's involved in that, you're involved with that, and a full-page letter from Billy Graham in the New York Times today.
Joining now at this point 120,000 Americans who have done the same thing, write a letter to the new Iranian president asking him to release Saeed. This all started, Perry, because Saeed was able to piece together a letter from prison to the new president, appealing for his release, telling the president why he shouldn't be in jail, that he was not a national security threat, not involved in politics, and was just there to build an orphanage. Closed the letter by saying, here I was, someone trying to help, mostly Muslim kids in an orphanage, and my kids now don't have a dad, and my wife doesn't have a husband. Oh. And so that started this whole outpouring of support. You've got Reverend Billy Graham, who yesterday, on the one-year anniversary of Saeed's imprisonment, with the Iranian president in the United States, attending the UN General Assembly, a full-page ad. And then today, in the Wall Street Journal, an op-ed. The Wall Street Journal ran an op-ed by Naghmeh Abedini. I mean, these are major media outlets covering this. We had Christiane Amanpour. Because of a flood, I believe, Naghmeh asked people, Saeed's wife asked people to go to her Facebook page, Christiane Amanpour from CNN, and flood it with people just telling her, please ask about Saeed if you have a chance to talk to the Iranian president or interview the Iranian president. She had the sit-down interview, and she interviewed and asked him about Saeed. On top of that, Naghmeh and our legal team were, some of our legal team were in New York, and this is a God moment, Perry. Our travel agent was just looking for the closest hotels nearby. Our usual hotel wasn't available, and they got booked at one. Finally, they found a couple of rooms. They got the flights. Ended up being the hotel the Iranian delegation, including the president, were staying in. And Naghmeh Abedini, who told us the week before she felt like God was telling her to be in New York. She had already been at the UN in Geneva with us, and we tried to explain to her as lawyers, hey, it's going to be different. This is high security. These are heads of state. Very unlikely you'll get anywhere near them. And that would be true if she was inside the UN complex. But once you're in the hotel lobby, anything can happen. Mm. And so she hears Farsi. She hears a large group of people, a huge swarm of people speaking Farsi, what she believes is the president right in the middle. She walks right up to the group, is able to hand-deliver the letter from Saeed, wow. Which is very similar to Reverend Graham's and the others we've asked people to write. And then an hour later, the foreign ministry spokesperson from Iran, she walks by, and Naghmeh is able to have a full conversation. And the interesting thing, Perry, this was all happening in front of World Magazine. Wow. So it's not just our account. I mean, this has got a media account, because they were interviewing Naghmeh while it happened. I mean, this was... It just tells you, of all the things that coincided yesterday, you had also the highest level meeting of a U.S. official and an Iranian official since the Islamic Revolution. John Kerry met with his counterpart, the foreign minister of Iran, on the one-year anniversary. And there are photos, CNN's got it up now, and I know other places, Christian Post does as well, of me. It's actually me, my wife, a reverend from here, and a number of people, a number of ministers and people who came out for the vigil, kneeling in front of the White House in prayer with Senator Ted Cruz, who was the only U.S. senator who came to the vigil. Many sent letters, and I thank them. They've got busy schedules. But even after his 21-plus hour speech, he came, stood up, gave a speech, gave a prayer himself, and then knelt with us in front of the White House for prayer.
Wow. What a story, Jordan. That is fantastic. Now, obviously, the president is receiving incredible pressure. Any sign that he's leaning towards the release?
I think there was, if you listen closely in how he answered the question in Christiana Amanpour's interview. He talked about how there is a judicial process that he can't interfere with, but, and there's always a but when it comes to Iran, a caveat, but, if the United States is interested in talking about other issues, and basically there have been prisoners that have been recently released. Most of them were almost done with their prison terms, so they were baby steps for Iran. But what we now know is that our goal of the week, and we have kind of three goals for this week. The first goal is always to keep Saeed alive. That's goal number one. This is a very difficult prison. Yeah. The second goal is the major goal, his ultimate release. But our goal this week, Perry, was to make sure somehow this Iranian president could not ever claim that he had never heard about Saeed. So he can't now, because he got the letter delivered to his entourage, a letter delivered to his foreign minister spokesperson, and Christiane Amanpour in front of the cameras asking about Saeed. So with all of that combined and the vigils happening around the country, we accomplished what we thought we could this week. The fight will continue, but I think what's happened is that we've elevated it to another level. Yeah. It's gone from the conservative media, Christian media, Fox News, CNN occasionally, to Wall Street Journal, CNN covering a prayer vigil, right. And Christiane Amanpour asking, think about all the questions you could ask a new Iranian president. Yeah. And she asked about Saeed, and that's only because people have been speaking out about this. I mean, if there was no petitions, if there was no letter writing campaign, if we weren't talking about right now, that she wouldn't have asked the question because she wouldn't have known about it. Yeah. I mean, that's the honest truth. And so you got to give all the people credit who, once they were told about this outpouring of support, have realized that this story does cross over boundaries. It's not just about Christians, it's about human rights.
Just a remarkable story. Well, our prayers and thoughts continue, and we're just going to keep pressing heaven's door until this thing is solved. What time I have with you, Jordan, I want to respect it. Tell us about your take on what's happening as we go to 3 days away from whether we're going to have or not have Obamacare. What's your take on the mess in Washington right now?
Well, it is absolutely a mess. What the efforts I think Ted Cruz and Mike Lee have undertaken are worthy efforts that we support. I mean, to do anything possible, we believe that this is a fight worth asking the president if he would shut down the government, which, by the way, doesn't affect the military, doesn't affect our national security. It's basically some federal bureaucrats who don't go to work for a few days usually, and we will see very soon. But listen, we know regardless, let's say that the Senate and everything goes through and that they don't defund it. It still it's not ready to work. I mean, in D.C., just where I'm sitting, we're talking to you today, they've already delayed the exchanges, so you can't go on October 1st. We're learning more about the ability of abortion coverage here. In about half the states that have opted in, there's this multi-state program run by the federal government where states, the only caveat is that a state has to allow a plan that doesn't cover abortions but can offer a plan that does. So you've got about half the states in the country that are offering plans starting October 1st, if the system even works, that will cover abortions, all subsidized by all of us, because all of us with our tax dollars and those of us who have to be in the exchanges, and as a lot of people have said, they're not even sure yet what their employer is going to do. You have 300 major companies, stock-listed companies, who have dropped and changed their coverage policies because of Obamacare. I mean, you've got that happening left and right. We hear about the different stores and places that are saying, well, we're cutting back hours, we're cutting back jobs, we're taking away UPS, which said if your wife can get a health care plan or your husband can get a health care plan through the exchange, we're not covering them. So we'll cover your kid. See, this was the great thing about Obamacare, Perry. All that stuff about, well, we want to keep your kids under 26 to stay on the health care, but not your husband or wife. Put that part in. I mean, that's how poorly written this law was.
Let me ask you this to kind of wrap that topic up. The proposal on the table now, postpone Obamacare for a year in exchange for raising the debt ceiling. Think that's got legs?
I think it could possibly have legs. I mean, the debt ceiling is always this heated debate. And if Republicans were willing to give in to the president there, because he has postponed the implementation of Obamacare for businesses, it would seem logical that he would be okay with postponing the individual mandate. They could still roll out some of the systems if people wanted to participate or try to participate, but we wouldn't be forcing the individual mandate on people. So I do think that that's the most likely possibility of slowing this down. I mean, ultimately the problem, Perry, as we all know, is that once a major social program goes into effect like this, even when it's bad, like Medicaid or Medicare or Social Security, which needs so much reform and are running in the red and are really going to cause trouble down the road, and already are causing trouble, but certainly for my generation and future generations, is going to be very tough, is that once they're in place, people get used to them, and they don't like the fact about talking about changing or reform. Defunding them 10 years from now is not going to be the same kind of fight.
Okay, lastly, what's happening with the fight against the national motto and the atheists going after that one?
Well, thankfully, again, the Freedom from Religion Foundation has been defeated. We represented 41 members of Congress in that case. Again, going after the national motto, they picked the Southern District of New York this time. It was about the coinage. This kind of underscores what I think is their ultimate goal, which we've talked about. Sometimes their cases are more extreme, sometimes less extreme. I would say that this goes into the category of Looney Tune, but and I say that because it's been very clear, as the court said when they threw this case out. Every circuit court and the Supreme Court has said that there is no violation of the First Amendment. There's no separation of church and state issue with having in God we trust, which, by the way, they try to assert didn't come about until 1956 when it was adopted as our national motto, but has in fact been on the coinage since the 1800s. So it was the motto of the coinage of the United States, and then we officially adopted it as our motto in the 50s. So it's always been a part of our history. Again, and it goes back to the argument, they want to do, not so different from some of these Islamist groups who in the Middle East target the actual church structures themselves before the people. They go and they want to destroy their history. That's like the purpose of these atheist groups. They want to strip our Judeo-Christian heritage so that when people look back on America, they don't see in God we trust. They don't see our Christian founding and our Judeo-Christian backing. They want to take that part away so that when history books are written later on, you can't find those best, or they say, well, they were thrown out, but they lost as usual. Nothing fails like a Freedom from Religion Foundation lawsuit.
Well, thanks for your fight in that, Jordan. And again, people who want to get a hold of ACLJ to support, what do they do?
They just go to aclj.org. We also launched, if people can always go to aclj.org, they can find it there, BeHeardProject.com for Saeed. That's where over 120,000 people have already written letters to the new Iranian president. And just because we passed the one-year anniversary, this kind of took it to that next level, as we talked about. So we're trying to take our grassroots efforts. And we also highlight all of the work we're doing for the persecuted church around the world on that new website, BeHeardProject.com. And Perry, as always, thanks for having me.
Thanks, buddy. Best to you and your team. We pray for you often.
Thank you.
See you next time.
Thanks to Dove.
Okay, we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Paulina, and I work at theDove TV. Did you know that when you support theDove TV, you have a profound impact, not only in our community, but around the world? It's your continued support that takes the inspiration and hope in the programs we produce and makes them available to the thousands of people who are watching these videos online every week. Help bring encouragement and hope to our valley and beyond by making a secure online donation today at our website, thedove.us.
Well, we're heading into a beautiful weekend, and you may want to participate in something that'll be good exercise, outdoor fun, and benefit a lot of people. I am delighted to have in the studio with us Lance Landers, and he's one of the partners of the Big Atlas Race. Lance, thanks for coming in, man.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, the Atlas Race. What is it, big guy?
It is an extreme obstacle race. It's not a mud run. A lot of people get it confused with a mud fun run. The mud fun runs are a run that will get you to this run. This is a little different. A lot of people have heard of things called the Warrior Dash.
Yeah.
If you're familiar with that, it's similar.
Okay.
To the Tough Mudder, similar.
Okay.
The Spartan race, it's similar.
Okay.
But we have differences.
Okay. And how long is this?
This particular one tomorrow is a little over 4 miles.
4 miles. Is there still time to get in?
Absolutely.
What do they do?
If they would like to get in, they can show up tomorrow and we can get them registered there, or they can show up today at Sports Authority in Medford at the mall. And
okay.
Yeah.
All right, so show up at Sports Authority today at the mall.
It's from 10 to 6.
10 to 6 today.
Yes.
And then tomorrow, where is the starting point?
The starting point is at Estramato Arena in Gold Hill out Galls Creek. So,
right. I think most of the runners probably know where that is.
Absolutely.
All right, now this is a benefit race. We have 2 charities that we've partnered up with. One is a local charity and one is a national charity. The local charity is the Ethan Jostin Foundation. Right.
And a lot of people are familiar with that. Those of the people who aren't, they'll see it, Ethan's Army. Their concept is simple. It's putting smiles on the faces of children battling cancer, and we couldn't think of a better local charity to be involved with.
That's wonderful. All right, so the proceeds, do people go get sponsors, or is this through the registration? What's your goals here?
Well, our goal is to give to that charity and give to our national charity, which is a different charity. It's a Special Operations Warrior Foundation. We give to them as well. And that is it's a great charity, the Special Operations Division of the Military Services. Anyone that's basically fallen in the line of duty, they will help their families out. So we have a local and a national, and then we have, of course, we have overhead costs and stuff like that we want to take care of. But yeah, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. We've been blessed.
All right. So what is the sign-up fee? What is the fee to run?
Well, today we'll give at Sports Authority we'll do a $55 for the open and $100 for the elite.
Okay, and you're going to a great charity. But so tell us about the course. How big in obstacles, and what are you in for here?
You're in for over 20 plus really awesome obstacles on a 4 mile course. So it's not like running a marathon like distance. First of all, it's short.
Okay.
And then when you're running a short distance in between the next obstacle. But the thing of it is you don't know what it is. Just as in life, we don't know when we wake up what we're facing. Yeah. On the course, you don't know what you're facing.
You're guarding those obstacles.
We're guarding them. We're guarding them a little bit. But I think it's a good thing. And people come out the other side of these races, and they come out a little different mentally and physically. Maybe they didn't think they could do the obstacle, and they did it, and they triumphed, and it empowers them a little bit more, maybe to push themselves a little bit more.
I think that's just wonderful. All right, so it's the Big Atlas race, and it'll be tomorrow. But if you're at the mall and you want to register, you can go over to Sports Authority from 10 to 6. And then what time tomorrow, Lance?
Tomorrow, our elites, if you want to do the elite heat, starts at 8 a.m.
Okay.
We go all the way through to 4 p.m. will be our last heat of the day. So 30-minute, increments. We'll send out groups. And they'll go out, and you'll see them come back in, and you'll ask them, what happened? And they'll say, watch out for this. So there is your hint. You'll have a hint. You'll be able to have a hint. Yeah.
Okay, there. So, but not right now.
Not
okay,
right now.
We got the element of surprise. Well, this is wonderful. And you have any idea how many people may show up?
Oh, we're going to have quite a few. I expect between 12 and 1,500 people to be there. And it's going to be a good size event for the Valley.
Oh, this is wonderful. Anything in the future? Are you guys working on any other things?
We are. We've got 14 race locations on the West Coast next year.
Really?
Yeah, from Seattle to LA to Las Vegas, and then of course we're coming back here where we live, home, and we'll have another one here next year.
Wow. And have you participated in any so far yourself?
Absolutely.
How many and where?
Absolutely. Well, I was a marathon runner who got bored of running 60 miles a week and decided to switch over into this, and then I got hooked. So, yeah. I will still do marathons. I have one coming up in November. However, this is kind of where the glue has, held on tight to me.
Different training?
It's, it is different. It's different in the fact that you're doing a little bit more strength stuff.
So you're in the gym a little more?
Not necessarily. All of our training has been done at a place called Higginbotham's Martial Arts.
I know Brian, yeah.
He's a great guy, and we've been blessed to have them.
Yeah.
And they have a parkour facility out there, and that's the best way. Another really good way is anyone who's involved in the CrossFit movement.
Yeah. Terrific
way. I would just, with the CrossFit, I would just increase your cardio just a little bit, maybe on the running, but yeah.
I'm envious. I used to run. I just can't. My back won't let me do it. But I'm envious. To me, this is just so much fun. All right, let me just kind of recap this before I lose Lance. If you're over at Sports Authority today, 10 to 6, you can register there. So 55 to 100 up to the elite for the 100.
Yeah, because the elite, we're giving over $50,000 in prize money. So we charge a little bit more, but there's a carrot dangling out there for you.
Really?
Yeah.
What kind of times are you expecting on this?
You know, I expect the winning time to be just under an hour.
Really? 4 miles obstacle course.
With terrain.
With terrain and obstacles that he's not mentioning but are challenging.
Yeah, you know, you'll be able to see.
Any blood on this deal?
We might need some Band-Aids on a couple of these. Nothing major.
Okay. Well, thanks for sharing it, and I wish you the best. This is really wonderful. And again, it's going to go to the charity. Give us the name again.
Well, there's 2 charities. The Special Operations Wounded
for the
Foundation. That one's a national charity.
Right.
And then the Ethan Johnston Foundation, which is a local charity, and we love these guys. They have the biggest team. They'll have the biggest presence out there.
Yeah.
And they have a special place that they'll have out there. Cheer those guys on. They're going to be wearing a shirt that says Ethan's Army.
Ethan's Army. All right. Well, if anything, go on out and watch it. But
please,
really, what you may want to do is pay your $55, jump in it, and go. You'd be surprised. You might be surprised.
We also have a kids obstacle race there as well. Starts
Really?
at 12:45.
How long is that one?
That one's about a quarter mile. But we have 2 divisions, so quarter mile for the little guys, and then 4 to 8, and then from 8 to 13 you go 2 times around.
Okay, one more time. The starting point, location, where do they got to be by 8 o'clock tomorrow morning?
Estramato Arena in Gold Hill. You won't miss it. Follow the signs. We'll lead you right to it.
And everything. Thanks, my friend. Best to you.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, God bless you. We'll be right back.
God bless you.
Hi, I'm Daniel and I work at theDove TV. You know, compared to Portland, Seattle, and LA, Medford might be considered a small market. But at theDove, we're excited about the opportunity to make a big impact right here in our community. And you help make that happen. Did you know that more than 90% of our income comes from people like you? You can help us now by making a secure online donation at our website, thedove.us, or by phoning 541-776-5368.
Well, I tell you, I just so look forward to having Treva Kuyper back with us today. She heads up a ministry called the Loft, and we had her in several weeks ago, and I got so switched on to this outreach. And as a result of her being on the air, apparently a lot of you are switched on to it as well. And Treva, nice to have you back.
Thank you.
And I told you, let's get you involved, and then as you go through this course over between now and June, keep us updated. But snapshot, what is the Loft?
The Loft is an outreach ministry to teen girls, 8th grade through 12th grade. And it's a place where they can come, a safe place where they can come, and we talk about real life issues. So every month, starting in October, we meet the 2nd Sunday night of every month at Community Bible Church in Central Point. And we talk about things like sex and teen pregnancy, addictions, beauty. One of my favorite ones is in November, we're talking about netiquette. Online safety and etiquette.
Oh, that's so great.
It's huge.
Yeah,
it's huge. And we're getting a lot of feedback on that topic specifically. So we meet once a month, and it's just a place where the girls can fellowship and they can meet mentors and leaders like myself. I'm the co-director, and we just love them. That's what we do. We really do give them a place to come, to ask questions, and to guide them through the messy parts of life.
Well, it's a safe place for girls, and I just want to say this thing is just fabulous. Now, that's the snapshot, but the detail is these young girls are being rescued, changed, encouraged, loved, and they come from all walks of life, all types of family dynamics, and it's all coming together. Now, this Sunday night is your kickoff party.
Yes, it is.
And that means...
Oh, it is so exciting. It is so exciting. It is our kickoff party. We are kicking off the whole year. So even though we meet October through June once a month, but this Sunday night is special because it kicks off our first time together in the Loft for this year. And so our party is 3 hours. It's from 5:30 to 8:30 at Community Bible Church in Central Point. And there is going to be food, prizes, games, fellowship. We have some wonderful people in our community have donated. Ever since I was here 2 weeks ago, we've had people rise up and say, hey, I want to help out. So Mazatlan in Central Point is donating our food. We're having Mexican food at this party.
They're wonderful.
Who can go wrong with that?
Yeah.
And we have the Sign Dude has donated our banners.
They're wonderful.
For this ministry. They're great.
Yeah.
And Sarah Malloy Photography is coming, and she's going to put on a photo booth for the girls. So we'll have accessories, hats, and glasses and things like that. The girls can have fun and take pictures, and they'll be able to see their photos in October at our Mirror event. So at our Loft night in October, they'll be able to come back and see their photos that were taken.
Too late to show up for Sunday night?
No, not at all. They do not have to, they don't have to sign up to come. They can just show up. Bring their friends, 8th grade through 12th grade girls, and they come to the church at 5:30, and we'll eat dinner probably right away, and we'll have drinks and desserts and lots of games.
So, ladies, girls, moms and dads, maybe you have a teenager between 8th grade, well, what's the age range now? From 8 to 12, okay.
Yeah, 8th grade through 12th grade.
8th grade through 12th grade. Have them grab a friend and come. I mean...
Absolutely.
Now, you've had incredible response and results.
I have. God has done amazing. We're trying to keep up with him. He's moving
well, try. You tell me if you do that.
That'll probably never happen. But it has we've only been working on this, the Loft. I mean, this is our 3rd year in ministry, but we changed the name. So the Loft itself is 4 weeks old. Yes.
People can see
there
that,
is the logo.
The logo.
And
is that a sparrow or a dove in that tree?
That is a little sparrow in that tree, and that represents the girls in the safety of that, the Loft, in the safety of that. I also have, before I chat a little bit more, I wanted to show you, Perry. Let's see if we can get that. That's our sweatshirt. Wow, that's beautiful. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah. Ryan and Manny over at Forte Creative did our sweatshirts and our t-shirts, and we will have these for the girls for sale. Sunday night they can bring money, they can get or pre-order a sweatshirt for $30, and they can order their t-shirts for $6, and they're just beautiful. But I just love the fact that God is taking this, and so many people have heard about the Loft, and it's going through people's workplaces. It's going all over Facebook, over Instagram, Twitter.
I've seen it.
Oh, I'm getting phone calls at home.
Good.
It is amazing, and there's lots of excitement. We're anticipating around 100 girls. And probably 150 people about total between the guardians or parents that want to come and check us out, the leaders. It's going.
Let's quickly go through what you're going to be covering, because this is the kickoff party Sunday night. So you're welcome to come. There's no sign up, no nothing. It's a show up thing. And then from there, you'll get it from there on out. All right. But you're coming back on October 13th for Mirror.
Yes. That is our first topic, our first Loft night. And our topic is on beauty and what is beauty. And we want to pour into these girls truth. And you know what, I think I just got tired of, working with teens for 16 years now and having the world feed them just the lies. They just feed them a bunch of lies, and we're constantly having to unravel that. So we want to give them a place where we can say, on this topic of beauty, you are beautiful because God created you that way. Let's stop looking at what the Lord or what the world is saying, and let's look at what the Lord is saying.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, so it's going to be a whole night dedicated to that. And what's not on this particular schedule of what we do each month is on October 20th, 1 week after our Loft night, we're having a special event called our Spa Night. And we're inviting the girls back, and they'll hear more about it on October 13th, but we're inviting them back on the 20th to pamper them. We're going to have a bunch of vendors that are going to come and give out free samples. I know, right?
Can I come?
I know. So we'll have We'll have nails and hair and makeup.
I don't need that.
That kind of, yeah, you could come.
Foot massage would be great. Massage,
yeah. So we want to get that, that's another thing, another reach out to say, girls, let us show you what it is to just be loved and taken care of.
All right, quickly, let's run through this before we run out of time. You got inadequate, and people need to understand this. I am so glad, Treva, you are covering this. This is such a concern of mine.
Absolutely.
And that is? What
etiquette, online safety. Online safety.
Wow.
So what we're going to teach the girls that night, we have Becca Venables, who's a Medford police officer, and she's going to come and give the girls instruction and give them stories so that they can understand that this isn't something that your parents are just telling you, oh, be careful. Make sure your profiles are set to private. That's all good, but Becca's going to come in with some stories and some practical guidance for these girls. And I'm hoping, I do have a friend that I would like to come and speak that night who actually was stalked. She was stalked because of some things on Facebook.
Yeah, I think it's just, it's a great tool, but it's a dangerous tool as well. All right, you've got, what are Mean Girls?
Oh, Mean Girls is toxic relationships in December. So we're going to talk a little bit about bullying. We're going to talk a little bit about friendship and relationships that we get sucked into that usually we can't see how toxic they are. We need someone else that loves us to say, let's look at that relationship and how good is that relationship for you?
Okay. Brady Bunch?
Brady Bunch. That one is on divorce and blended families. I had shared with you before that I'm a child of 5 divorces.
Right.
And so that is near and dear to my heart. We have a lot of brokenness in our homes, and these girls don't know which way to turn. They don't know what to do.
Trapped
addictions and obsessions. We will talk about substance abuse and alcohol. We'll talk about eating disorders, the things in the world that pull us in and they trap us and they don't let us go.
Down and out?
Down and out. Depression, anxiety, and stress. Big one. Every human being suffers through stress at some level, and when it continues down that road, it can lead to depression, and we're going to have women come who have been victorious in that and come share with the girls.
And that spills over into broken hearts a little bit.
It does. Broken hearts, loss, and grief. I added this topic 2 years ago because my mom passed away. And my mom passed away 2.5 years ago, and that is what God used to bring me into this ministry. It was my love for teen girls and the heartbrokenness that I felt. And I said, let's try to, as God is helping me, let's try to help these girls. So loss and grief and just disappointment in general.
Okay. May 4th.
Let's talk about sex, baby.
Okay.
That's your favorite one, isn't it? Last time I embarrassed you so much by saying that. That one is on relationships. It's on sex and relationships and how do we navigate through a culture that, like you had said last time, at 10 years old, they're sextizing our girls and our boys and saying it's okay to just live free and do whatever you want. And you know what? It's not.
It's not.
It hurts them, and they need to know it hurts them.
Well, I'm out of time, but let me just encourage you. If you have girls from 8th grade to 12th grade and you know of them, or maybe you have them in your home and they have friends, I'm telling you, this is the perfect introduction into God's love.
Absolutely.
It's just perfect. And so go over to Community Bible Church Sunday night. It all starts with the kickoff party. What time?
At 5:30.
Well, that's right, 3 hours long.
Yeah, 5:30 to 8:30. And I want to encourage everybody to go to our website. It is up and running now. It's the Loft, southernoregon.com. It has this calendar on it. The schedule is on there. There's more information about our leaders on there, our sponsors, our blog. We have a blog now. So go on to the Loft, southernoregon.com.
Do you need anything? You need volunteers, help, money, supplies?
Sure, call me. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, okay. Yeah, just get a hold of Treva there at Community Bible. Because, I mean, all that, it takes...
Oh, it does.
Yeah.
It takes a village. Thing. God is providing, but it takes a village. Okay, so it takes a village. And so anyway, 80, maybe 100 ladies, girls will be there, I should say, plus the team that's going to make this all happen. Well, I have to tell you, Treva, this is wonderful. And I can't wait to get you back on each topic and just kind of give us an update what's going on there, okay? I love it. Thank you so much. Thanks for coming in. All right, we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Paula, and I work at theDove TV. Every day we get letters and emails from people who've been encouraged, blessed, and challenged by the programs on theDove TV. But we couldn't do it without you. Did you know that more than 90% of our income comes from people like you? You can help us continue to bring inspiration and hope to our community by making a secure online donation at our website, theDove.us, or call us at 541-776-5368.
All right, we're back, and wow, I tell you, quite a opportunity to find out what's going on in North Korea, and we hear about it a lot in the news. But what about the underground church? How healthy it is? What's going on over there? Well, I am really honored to have with us today Pastor Eric Foley. He's the CEO of Seoul USA. And hi, Eric. How are you doing, my friend?
Terry, it's great to be on with you. I'm originally from Grants Pass. That's where I grew up and went to North Valley High School. And I remember the Dove when we listened to it on AM radio. So what a fun thing to be able to be on with you this morning. Thanks for having me.
Well, that's great news. Where are we Skyping you in from?
Now in Colorado. My wife and I go back and forth between Korea and the United States. Spend a month here and a month there in support of our work of the North Korean Underground Church.
Well, give us an update on this. Fascinating to me because, you know, I'm hearing great stories. We also know there's just an incredible pressure over there for the underground church, but it's also pretty healthy, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, Terry. You know, one of the things when my wife and I first started working with the underground church in North Korea, our thought was North Korea must be the worst place in the world to be a Christian because the persecution that Christians face in North Korea is really the worst, not only of any country now, but perhaps in human history, because North Korea is the only country intentionally founded as a distortion of Christianity. The official ideology of the North Korean state is called Juche, which literally translates to self-reliance. But Kim Il-sung, the founder of North Korea, grew up in a Christian family. He knew Christianity very well. And so when the North Korean state was founded, it was a mixture of communism and Confucianism and this Christian theology, not the kind of Christian theology the way we think about it, but in Juche, North Korea has a trinity, Kim Il-sung, Kim Jong-il, and the mother of Kim Jong-il. Wow. They have a hymnal with 600 songs of praise to Kim Il-sung. Every Saturday, all of the North Koreans across North Korea have to go to what are called Kim Il-sung research centers, and they do what you and I would call, Terry, a church service. Wow. With singing and the readings from Kim Il-sung. A lot of the things, Terry, in fact, are drawn right from the Bible, but they're twisted, like North Korea's foundational principles are called the 10 Principles. And my guess is it probably sounds pretty familiar to you, including the first provision that there should be no loyalty greater than the loyalty to Kim Il-sung. Wow. So when my wife and I started working with North Korean Christians, we said, wow, how can we pray for you? How can we help you? But Terry, they said to us, well, how can we pray for you? And we were really surprised because we said, hey, we're from America, you know, the home of the free, the land of the brave. Yeah. They said that's the problem, is they said many Christians around the world actually end up putting a lot of faith in their resources and in their freedom of religion. And the North Korean underground believers said, we have neither, but we have freedom in Christ. And so we've learned a lot from them, Terry, over the last 10 years. And in this church of 100,000, all of whom are underground, they're all separate. Most Christians in North Korea never see other Christians in their lifetime. Wow. So in this place, 30,000 Christians are in concentration camps in North Korea, and yet for them, that's their mission field. So yes, wow. It is a very vibrant church. They don't look for the sympathy of the rest of the world, but instead, they have a lot to offer us, Terry, in terms of being able to teach us how to be able to endure persecution in difficult times.
Wow, what a story. Let me fast forward a little bit. I understand there's the 100 days of prayer. What's that all about, Eric?
Yeah. Well, Terry, you know, one of the questions as we travel around the country, when we're in the U.S., we're typically speaking at different conferences, for example, Voice of the Martyrs, as we talk about religious persecution. And always people say, well, what can I do? You know, I know I can give money. I know I can pray. And so we developed the 100 Days campaign as a way of helping people understand that the North Korean church isn't to be pitied, but instead they really have a lot to be able to teach us. And so the 100 Days campaign takes the order of worship that is kind of the foundation, the pillars of the North Korean underground church, that from the 1950s to the 1960s, as that church descended into extreme persecution, as Kim Il-sung strengthened his grip on North Korea, the church leaders, knowing that a time would come that they could not worship openly, began to intentionally choose 4 pillars, one in theology, one in prayer, one in worship, and one in ethics. Almost like you'd think of them as like a zip file on a computer, right? To kind of distill the essence of those areas down to something that could be passed on, learned, and memorized, because they knew that they wouldn't be able to have Bibles, they wouldn't be able to get together. And so we've taken that order of worship, Terry, and we've put it into this campaign called 100 Days of Worship in the Common Places. What we're challenging Americans to do is to do the very thing that got North Korean Christians persecuted. Terry, if they had stayed in their homes and kind of hid out there and read their Bibles under a blanket with a candle or something like that, they never would have been persecuted. But instead, what they did is that they made a witness for Christ in the common places. Wow. By that, we're not talking about standing on the steps of the state capitol or jumping out of an airplane. We're just saying wherever you normally are, whether it's a coffee shop, your workplace, your school, we're challenging everybody for 100 days to do this very basic service of worship, which takes about somewhere between 5 and 10 minutes of time daily. Gather together 2 or 3 believers and just do this in public as a way of standing in solidarity with the North Korean church. And we think, Terry, experiencing a little bit of taste of opposition or persecution. You can imagine some workplaces or schools where that wouldn't be welcome at all.
Well, you know, I'm kind of curious, Eric, how did you connect to the underground church? I mean, that's pretty risky business.
Yeah, especially for the underground Christians, it is, Terry.
Yeah.
My wife is originally from South Korea, came to the U.S. in 1984 to study for her MBA, and fortunately, she stayed, and so I was able to meet her and marry her. Yeah. But neither of us had any background, Terry, with North Korea, and we had the most interesting experience I've never had before or since, that I had a dream in which the Lord showed me that we'd give up everything to support underground North Korean Christians. And I woke up just like in the movie, sat bolt upright and was in a sweat, and I woke up Mrs. Foley, you know, and I said, hey, I just had this dream. And she wisely said to me, Terry, look, if it's the Lord, he's going to make it come to pass. He'll bring it to pass. Don't force it, because then you'll end up with an Ishmael, you know? Yeah. And so sure enough, over the next couple of years, because of some connections that we had with, been doing nonprofit consulting for 25 years, and connections we had with the Korean embassy, we began to meet North Korean defectors. And all of that, Terry, was a trail kind of tracing into North Korea itself. Wow. And so inside North Korea, we then built networks of underground Christians, and today we have more than 105 discipleship and evangelism projects to reach North Koreans wherever they're found, which is North Korea, China, Russia, and basically any country that hates the United States has a good relationship with North Korea.
Is it risky for you to go in?
Well, you know, unfortunately, we have a engraved invitation from the North Korean government. They would like nothing more than for us to come, Terry. We're quite high on their list of wanted targets, and the reason why is because of our we launch 50,000 Bibles a year by balloon into North Korea. We do about an hour and a half of radio broadcasting every night into North Korea, and so they threaten our children, they threaten us, and for the safety of the North Korean believers, we don't enter into North Korea. Yeah. So we use some pretty fancy ways of communicating with them, and different groups of people, Russians, Chinese, North Koreans who travel on work and relative visas. So God always finds a way, Terry.
Is the persecution what we think it is? I mean, we've heard some pretty desperate stories, and is it continuing on? And if some of them are in prison now, camps, how bad is it for them?
Well, Terry, the concentration camps in North Korea actually are even far more brutal than the concentration camps under the Nazis in World War II. Just to give you an idea, if you're sent to a North Korean concentration camp, you might go to a mine. You'd be sent into the mine, and you would never be brought out. You sleep on the floor in a pile of bodies, and you're given just enough food to last for about 18 months. And it basically turns you into an animal. So you would never be permitted to leave. For other North Koreans, the situation is very desperate. There's no way even in North Korea to bow your head to pray, because that would be an act of sedition. School teachers are trained in North Korea to be able to ask children questions so that the children inadvertently reveal that their family is Christian. So, Terry, the reason why is that Christians are a threat to the North Korean state, because they know the truth about the fact that the North Korean state is built on this twisted Christian foundation. And so were that ever to be revealed inside North Korea, that'd be quite damaging to the government. And so that's why the work that we do with the radio broadcasting and balloon launching is so threatening to the North Korean state.
How can people get involved in your ministry, Eric?
Hey, the best way, Terry, is to go to the web and to go to our website. I'll give you the English language website, and if there are Korean folks who are listening, they can connect to the Korean language website from there. But our website is www.seoul, which is S-E-O-U-L, like the city in Korea, SeoulUSA.org. And on there, people can see the information about signing up for the 100 Days campaign. We started on Monday. We're going to go through New Year's Eve, but it's not too late to join in. We have kits available for free if folks will just cover the cost of shipping. That'd be great. but we're getting as many people involved as possible so that the North Korean church can lead the church around the world in 100 days of worship in the common places.
That's SeoulUSA.org, and let me encourage, the Lord's tugging on your heart to check that out. SeoulUSA.org, and see what the Lord has for you to do to get involved in that. Eric, I got about a minute left. This is fascinating, to say the least. How are the Korean Christians, you're saying that they're unable to connect with one another? They just can't do that?
Yeah, in North Korea, the saying in North Korea is wherever 2 or 3 are gathered together, one of them is a spy.
Yeah.
And so even within a family, a husband might be Christian and not even tell his wife in like a arranged marriage. They might wait. He might wait for 3 or 4 years until he finds out his wife is trustworthy. So in North Korea, you're not permitted to travel or to gather together in groups. Even if you were to sneak out of your home at night to gather together with other believers, it would be reported, because you're required in North Korea to spy on every home within 2 or 3 homes of your own. And if you don't report suspicious activity and it's discovered, then you're charged with the same offense that you failed to report.
Wow. Wow. It's just hard for us to get our head around that. Well, listen, thank you, my friend. Again, SeoulUSA.org. Eric, thank you. The best to you. And nice to know that you're now on the Dove.
Hey, that's pretty exciting. I'm on the other end of the dial. That's great.
Well, let's stay in touch, and maybe midway through the 100 days, let's see how it's going and see what kind of participation you got.
Terry, always good to be back with you in Southern Oregon. So thanks for having me. I'll look forward to checking in with you.
All right, God bless you, pal. See you later. All right, Pastor Eric Foley with us today. Again, that's SeoulUSA.org. And if the Lord leads you, go there, check it out. If you know some Korean-speaking friends, you may take them there, and then they can link over to the other site. All right, thanks for being with us today. We'll see you next time on Focus Today.
Hi, I'm Jim, and I work at theDove TV. Every weekday between 6 and 8 a.m., our award-winning news and sports team bring you the best morning show around. It's live, it's honest, and it's a whole lot of fun. And you help make it happen. Did you know that more than 90% of our income comes from people like you? You can help us continue to air local programs that share your voice by making a secure online donation at our website, thedove.us.